There was speculation this week that Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky might meet Russia's President Vladimir Putin in Turkey on Thursday, if the Russian leader decides to show up for a summit that he himself suggested. The possibility of the two men meeting face-to-face has caused major excitement, but it might not be happening after the Kremlin's list of delegates made no mention Putin. CNN has reached out to the Kremlin to clarify whether Putin is not going to the highly anticipated talks, after Russian officials spent days preparing justifications and excuses for Putin's absence. The talks are unlikely to yield immediate results, and they almost certainly won't bring the elusive deal U.S. President Donald Trump has been promising since returning to the White House in January. Yet despite the caveats, a direct meeting between Kyiv and Moscow at any level would mark a milestone in the conflict. The two are not known to have held direct talks since soon after Moscow launched its unprovoked, full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. The talks were first proposed by Putin in response to the ceasefire or sanctions ultimatum given to Moscow by Ukraine's European allies on Saturday, when the leaders of Germany, France, Poland, and the United Kingdom demanded that Russia accept a 30-day ceasefire proposal or face a new round of massive sanctions. Putin ignored the ultimatum, proposing instead direct talks between Russia and Ukraine. This was likely a delaying tactic by Putin, something he has successfully deployed several times in the past. But it appears to have backfired. The Europeans and Ukraine initially said there could be no talks before a ceasefire is agreed, but that quickly changed when U.S. President Donald Trump got involved. In a post on social media, he publicly urged Zelensky to have the meeting now. Putin wasn't suggesting a one-on-one with his loathed Ukrainian counterpart. He said he wanted a restart of the talks that took place in the spring of 2022 and were attended by top-level diplomats, but not the leaders themselves. But Zelensky raised the stakes by announcing he was going to travel to Turkey himself and called on Putin to do the same. The Ukrainian leader made it clear that he would not meet with any other Russian official, arguing that everything in Russia depends on Putin. Trump, currently on a Middle East tour, added to the pressure by suggesting he might go as well, if it's helpful. That idea was endorsed by Zelensky, who said Ukraine would be grateful for Trump's presence. Trump also told CNN on Wednesday that Putin would like me to be there. But two White House officials told CNN Trump is not planning to travel to Turkey later this week, in a decision that closes the door to days of speculation that he could join Putin at the negotiating table. If Putin decides to show up, which is looking increasingly unlikely, he would undermine his own false narrative that Zelensky and his government are illegitimate. But by staying at home, Putin might give Zelensky an opportunity to point out, once again, that Russia is not serious about peace. This message would be aimed squarely at Trump. Kyiv and its European allies have long said they don't believe Putin is seriously interested in negotiating peace. Trump has previously repeatedly expressed his belief in the opposite, although he began expressing his doubts in recent weeks, questioning whether Putin wants peace after speaking to Zelensky on the sidelines of Pope Francis's funeral in the Vatican last month. The spectacle of Zelensky sitting across the table from an empty chair would likely reinforce this point. This is also likely the key reason why Zelensky suggested a personal meeting with Putin, who, according to Ukrainian and Western intelligence services, had previously ordered his assassination.